We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for everyone for being here tonight. Would you please take roll?
Miss Atkins.
Here.
Mr. Houston.
Here.
Mrs. McDaniel.
Here.
Mrs. Peterson.
Here.
Mr. Sorensen.
Here.
Mr. Wright.
Here.
Mrs. Shuffle.
Here. Can I get a motion to approve the October 7th, 2024 agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote please.
Ms. Atkins?
Yes.
Mr. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Sorensen?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mrs. Sheffel?
Yes. Commendations and good news.
Well, we have some guests with us today. So this is from Titan Hill. We have our fifth graders and some teachers here to talk about their experiences from School of the Wild. So I'll have you guys pop up and maybe quickly introduce yourselves. If you're gonna talk, why don't you guys come up by the microphone so everybody out in virtual land can hear you?
I'm gonna start because I
Oh,
know they.
you wanna push, is the button on?
Oh, sorry.
Perfect.
I'm gonna start because I know they won't give themselves the credit they deserve. So I'm going to start and then I'm gonna turn it over to them because I really had very little to do with this other than removing barriers and making sure they had the resources that they needed. Katie Kinsella started on this journey last year. She brought School of the Wild to us. She did so much work behind the scenes, making it all happen and making sure everything was organized, being the liaison, the go-between between all of the people that were important in planning this. And our fifth grade team is so amazing. The amount of preparation and organization and hard work that it took to get all of our fifth graders. If you have ever planned a field trip, one field trip is a lot of work. They took 4 in 1 week. So in order to make this a safe, a meaningful experience for our students, they just did an outstanding job. So I just wanted to say that before I turn it over to them. So awesome job, fifth grade teachers. Awesome job, Katie, our instructional coach.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for inviting the fifth grade team to share about our experiences with School of the Wild. My name is Katie Kinsella. I'm one of the instructional coaches at Titan Hill. And with me tonight are some of our fifth grade teachers and a few of their students. I'd like to begin by explaining a bit about what School of the Wild is and how we brought it to Titan Hill. School of the Wild began in Iowa City in 1998 with a partnership between the school district and the University of Iowa. The program started as a way to connect students to the wild for a whole week. This was done through hands-on experiences in the ecosystems that they were learning about in their classrooms, such as woodlands, wetlands, and prairies. This increased accessibility for students who may not have otherwise had the opportunity to explore these ecosystems and learn in nature. All of this enables students to develop a sense of appreciation for and comfort in nature. Then, in 2020, they began to spread the program across the state, involving over 100 schools. Locally, both Underwood and College View also involved their fifth graders in School of the Wild. So after hearing about the program at a conference, I reached out to the naturalists at Potawatomi County Conservation to learn more about what it looks like in action at our local parks. They were instrumental in helping our team envision what School of the Wild could be for Titan Hill. With 230 students, we knew that we would not all fit in one single park. So instead, we sorted students into 16 groups and rotated them through 3 county parks, including 1 day at Arrowhead Park, 2 days at Hitchcock Nature Center, and 1 day at Pony Creek Nature Center. In addition to our 9 classroom teachers, we involved instructors from a variety of community organizations. And because of them, we were able to keep group sizes about 15 students, which allowed the instructors to dedicate more time to students' individual questions and ideas. So the benefits of a week in the wild are plentiful, so I'd like to turn over the microphone to students and teachers for them to share a few of their personal experiences.
Who wants to go first? No. When you're ready, pop right up to the mic so everybody can hear you.
My name is Emily Smith. I am in 5th grade in Mrs. Smith's class. At Titan Hill, I'd like to tell you about our amazing field trip called School of the Wild. We spent 4 days at Iowa Parks and did fun outdoor activities at school on our Wednesday early out. I love learning about plants at Hitchcock. We also played games that helped us learn about animals and predator and prey. The predator chased the prey through really tall grass. At Pony Creek Nature Center, we got to catch butterflies and learn about insects. And we caught a caterpillar. There was green slime in my net. Arrowhead was super fun. We got to go canoeing to catch frogs with a net and 2 fish. I caught 2 baby minnows. On Wednesday, some School of the Wild instructors came to school to help us learn about nature pollinators plants. Every student got to plant one in the Titan Hill outdoor classroom. This was the best field trip I've ever been on. It was really fun getting to know all the fifth grade teachers and the instructors that helped. At the end of the week, we were tired, but it was worth it.
This is a picture that she spent some time at Pony Creek studying common birds here in Iowa. So this was, one did you make? The white
breast.
So the white-breasted, I don't remember, but she got to study it and search for that as well. So that was some of her work.
Did you find it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Hello, my name is Reese. I am in Miss Bennett Brock's class, and thank you to the school board for taking the time to listen to us tell you about School of the Wild. Learning about the ecosystem and the environment is so much better outdoors than in the classroom when you can see it, hear it, and feel it. Learning is so much more enjoyable. My favorite part of the week was learning how to canoe. I enjoyed fishing with the nets. This kind of learning is much more memorable, and I feel it will stick with me a lot longer.
My name is Eva Thompson, and I am in Ms. Jones' 5th grade class. School of the Wild was a great experience for us 5th graders. It gave us the ability to learn and have fun at the same time. Throughout history, people spent most of their time outside, which means people did most of their thinking, playing, and problem solving outside. As we adapted to doing things inside, we didn't get as much time outside, so that we can calm down and do our best thinking. So I think that this 4-day field trip really helped us so that we can see and learn about wildlife. It also allowed us to have lots of fun. Furthermore, I would like to thank all of the teachers and staff for making this possible. We all had such a fun time. Thank you.
All right, who's next? Rock, paper, scissors?
My name is Maple Linen. I'm in Mrs. Wombold's class, and I think School of the Wild was a great program because it helped us explain more about the ecosystem. And
So what were some of the favorite things that you did or that you learned?
well, we went on a lot of nature hikes and we canoeing and
How was the canoeing? Was it hard?
kind of.
Had you
It
ever
was
done it
kinda
before?
hard. You've been canoeing before? What was your favorite park?
Probably Hitchcock.
Hitchcock?
Because we got to go there twice, and then we had a lot of engaging activities there.
Did you go all the way to the top of the lookout?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's scary. Pretty tall.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Come on, sir.
All right, big classroom, boys, you got this. Sorry.
I'm Maximus, and I think my favorite thing about it was canoeing, and we got to learn a lot of stuff. We got to learn how to bird watch.
Did you catch any frogs?
Yeah.
We did. Nice. What kind of frogs?
We caught little tiny frogs, and then I caught this one little fast frog. I don't know what it was called.
Did you guys have frog legs then for lunch that day? No, you did not eat the animals, just
I
catch
caught
them.
2 fishes as well.
Yeah?
Nice.
Awesome.
I caught little tiny fish in the water.
So did you think that it was, would you rather been in the class? 'Cause it was pretty hot those days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Would you rather been in the classroom or would you rather been in School of the Wild?
been School of the Wild.
School of the Wild. Gotcha. Well, thank you guys. Anybody else want to talk?
The one thing that I really thought was cool is that even though the teachers stayed in their same area, when the kids said that they were tired, let them tell you, we were tired too. I was in Hitchcock for the 4 days, and I think on my smartwatch I tracked over 30 miles and probably 18 to 20 flights of steps every day. So I was tired, I get that. But I think what really was neat is the first day was kind of rough because I don't think kids really knew how to question and wonder. The second day was better. They weren't afraid, they were more engaged. And by the fourth day and the fifth, or the third and the fourth day, it just was so much better. It also really gave a big chance for more connections, and we know as adults that the more connections we have with children, that also spreads across the classrooms, and so I think that was a big thing.
Yeah. Well, I have a fifth grader, and she was pumped. She enjoyed every minute of it. So she
pumped for it.
who was that?
As a parent who
Yeah.
struggled to get out with these up throughout their day, that whole week, she talked about everything, anything, like the enthusiasm, the excitement was.
I ran into a lady at the nail salon, and she heard me say, just talking about it. She's like, "Were you there?" And I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "My grandson just went on and on. He loved it." And she was telling me about his experience. And I know her grandson was in Mr. Fast's class. I don't remember if I had him in my particular group, but yeah. So it was really to see that excitement.
And you better keep doing it because my second grader is tired.
Anna couldn't come. She got an ear infection, so she was planning on being here. She was really worried, but I know the highlights for her were being able to be hands-on with creatures, like catching the frogs and things, and of course everyone loved the canoes. But we definitely made connections at the beginning, or from the beginning, with the University of Iowa instructors coming. That we have this world, this one world, and that if our kids and us as a society are inside and on our screens and all those time, how do we expect them to care and take care of this world? And just like part of our mission is the day-to-day school is super important, preparing our students for after school is so important. And so I just think that just this week gave us the opportunity to carry that throughout the year and out our school system, education about connecting with nature and the world around us.
Well, kudos to you guys for your organization, and because that's a huge part of it, because that's what makes it go and makes it go effectively. I think of my daughter I just talked about, she hates getting dirty, she hates bugs, she hates being hot, she hates walking. Pretty much she hates being outside, and then she loved it for 4 days. So you guys must have had some great engaging opportunities for her to turn the things now I can't get her to go back outside. Maybe I'm not very engaging. Yeah, I know, yeah.
Did any of you touch any bugs or frogs or anything that you'd never touched before because you were afraid to? Did you? What'd you touch? You touched
a toad.
Toad? What did you touch?
I touched a fish and 40 frogs.
48 frogs? You were busy catching frogs. What
Frog
did you
whisperer,
touch?
huh?
Minnows? What did you touch?
At Prince Creek, there was a museum area and there were some a turtle shell and a bunch of other stuff.
What did you touch?
I touched a very small minnow, and it was really, really big.
That's awesome. You guys are all braver than I am because none of those things. But I would come be in 5th grade for those 4 days. So if you do it again,
We would love to have additional support, so.
Okay, well, I should be on both feet next year, so.
Katie has a sign up before she leaves.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you guys have another field trip this year, or is this your main field trip?
I think it's our field. This was it.
This is your field trip, okay, good, okay.
That was 4 days.
And then
So
they
much for
did-
going to the theater and just sitting in a nice, cool theater,
Yeah,
right?
we didn't do that.
And
And then they did come back on Wednesday and do activities around the building, and I'd invite you to come look at our outdoor classroom because they planted some native grasses and plants there to help with some water kind of issues in one area. So please, just come check that area out. That's something they're applying, they're learning, they're having ownership in that space. There's big plans for it, and I was gonna tell all the statistical data about nature and science, but that's pretty, I'd rather listen to them talk. But it's highly relevant.
Well, I want to say something really quick. So my twins, Lila and Carter, are in 5th grade also, and they don't mind school, but this was the most adventurous week for them. And they woke up spry, ready to go, and we're so excited. So thank you guys for organizing something like this, and I really do hope that it continues on because kids need to be outside. They need to get dirty. They need to explore, and it helps with their creativity. And definitely being in nature is crucial to them growing as kids too. So thank you for the teachers that organize all of it.
And I just realized you guys went School of the Wild and Homecoming like back to back, right? Oh.
It's weird being back in professional.
I was gonna say, just to be back in a classroom all day. The kids
And how many of you had movie days today? Anybody? I'm teasing. I know. Just teasing. But thank you. I loved hearing about the creepy crawlies and the fish, and that's really cool. Because a lot of times kids will only ever see pictures of those things in books. So, great job.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for
Thank you.
coming.
I was gonna say, due to our poor drainage up at Titan Hill, they did have such a big pond last year back there with rainwater that there was about 1,000 little tadpoles in water.
I'm
that they would
sure.
play
I
with,
believe it.
so,
That was a big puddle.
Yeah,
back
people
there.
were going up trying to relocate them. Okay,
Okay. Any other commendation and good news?
that's all I got for right now. Oh, we had a good homecoming, great homecoming. We had a great homecoming dance. Did a little different this year. We asked, we did not allow freshman, sophomore to bring outside dates, and it was just because, you know, our high school's the biggest it's ever been at 1,100 students, and so our gym only holds so many, and we get pretty good turnout for our homecoming dances that if we start inviting all the outside guests, so we kind of restricted it to just junior and seniors, and we had some people that are disappointed about that. We've had a lot of people reach out and say thank you because it made it more fun and, you know, I mean,
Right.
just more organized in general, so.
Well, especially for the seniors and juniors because, you know,
Yep.
the freshmen and sophomores still have a
And they'll
few
get
more
their
years.
time. Yep,
Yes,
they'll get their
it'll
time
be
for
their
sure.
turn,
So.
Definitely. Anyone else, commendation, good news? All right. Comments and suggestions. This is the first time during our agenda that anyone in the audience or anyone online, if they want to type anything in, can address the board. Okay, hearing none, we'll go on to our consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Is there an updated personnel sheet?
Yes, there are a few adds to the personnel.
Is there any discussion? Vote please.
Mr. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Sorensen?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Ms. Atkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Shuffle?
Yes. Report 6.01, superintendent report.
So the doctor in Mrs. Rossick Welding Center is officially up and running. We've had students in there now for the last, over 2 weeks now. And they just got the rest of the equipment installed, and so we should be good to go. We're actually gonna do a tour tomorrow with Dr. Rossick, so we can give him, kind of let him see where his generosity has helped provide opportunity for a lot of students. The welding program so far offers Iowa Western courses in the morning, and those are pretty full. And then in the afternoon, they're completely full. So all of our introductory classes have 24 students in them. I mean, it's a very, very popular program so far. So hopefully we can continue to kind of gain some traction there and even open up some different doors as we move forward. I think that's one of the great things is, you know, you start a program and then people start looking around and saying, okay, what else can we do? What else can we add? What other needs are there in the community that we can help address? And so that's, as we move forward, I like that mentality. You know, it kind of keeps us hungry for, you know, what's best for the community, what's best for kids. Got a lot of state reports due this week. We did have our October 1st is our attendance day. Looks like we're actually down a few students, about 15 students, which was not surprising because the open enrollment had turned off. And so over the last 2 years, we're up about 115 students. We're up 130 students last year, down a little bit this year and about 15 students. So we're up 115 students over the last 2 years. So that's a pretty big number. We are now fully staffed in our preschool, so we're going to be offering more seats open to people who are on waiting lists. So if you're out there and you're on a waiting list, we do have room now that we're able to be in ratio across all the classrooms. So hopefully we'll get some more preschoolers in there, and then we'll talk some more about kind of our plan with renovating the high school. We did the roofs this summer. The board had kind of set aside a budget number for doing the HVAC. Those are some items that we really couldn't wait to see the outcome of the bond in order to do. So we're going to approve a good portion of the HVAC tonight, and then they'll start diving into Titan Hill and trying to address some of those issues there. So a couple main takeaways there are the bids, and we'll talk about those in a little bit, came in right about almost exactly what they were anticipating. We were significantly under in our roofs, so we're still under overall for the project, so that's a good thing. Continue to move forward. We should have the new speaker system at the field, should be in this week, so we should be installing that. And not a minute too soon. I think on Friday night as they were playing music, I'm like, oh man, don't go out. It'd be a bad night for homecoming for the speakers to go out. So we'll see what happens there. But overall, just continuing to move forward. Our programs are very successful again this fall. #1 ranked football team. I think volleyball is ranked #4. Our cross-country team is ranked, our boys team. They're consistently winning. Girls is doing a great job as well, always in the top 3. Band just won another competition. When I say win a competition, like they literally win everything at the competition. It's not like they come home with 1 trophy, they come home with 4. So super impressive. So it's just fun to see that level of success because, you know, it's all about the kids and they're just working very hard to do that. Junior high programs are successful. It's just, again, it's a good time to be a Titan. Like it's feels good. So for the kids. So anyway, that's kind of my report.
Okay. 6.02, Geo Bond communication update.
So we have our last informational session will be on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. at the middle school multipurpose room. We've had 2 other informational sessions that they're okay attended, but I think they got quite a few views. So hopefully people are out there and they're getting informed. I've been going out and about as much as I can to try to talk with people about just making sure they understand what the bond is, having different conversations, different groups of people. I've had a few people that have pointed out that the information they've received in the mailboxes this year was much more succinct, and they like having 1 vote versus 2. That was confusing. Having one kind of initiative of just fixing our infrastructure, like that's easier to understand than the 90 million that was going to, you know, three different initiatives. So it's also, the price point is something that more people have talked about getting behind. And that is that, you know, last year at the same house, $300,000 might have set you back $494. This year it's $134. So that's a lot more understandable, especially then when you look at the fact that Our tax rate is the lowest by far in the area, one of the absolute lowest in the state, and a variety of other factors. So, but again, people have to go out and they have to vote. You know, we're gonna have a satellite voting booth at Titan Hill on Thursday, October 24th. It's gonna be open from 12 a.m. to 12 a.m., holy moly, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And anybody that's actually in the Lewis Central district can get out and vote. It doesn't have to be Lewis Central parents. It can be literally anybody that lives here. It's just another time. So if November 5th doesn't work out for you to get out and vote, you know, this is just another opportunity. So love to see a lot of people coming in. I kind of talked with the county auditor and with assistant. She kind of told me, she said, well, you probably won't have more than about 20 votes. And so my goal, I told her, I bet we can get 500. So my goal is to get 500 votes. So not just people voting in general, not votes for the bond, just people voting in general. Because apparently satellite voting is not attended very well. So we'd like, if you're listening out there, come help me prove her wrong. That'd be good. So.
Can I ask, is the satellite voting just for our initiative, or
It
this is
is the whole ballot.
shebang?
It's the
Okay.
whole ballot. Yep, so you'll come in, you'll tell them, you give them your address, they will give you the same ballot that's on your regular voting precinct.
Okay.
And you can get it out of the way and you don't have to fight the crowds on November 5th, so.
And this date is October
October 24th.
24th.
Yep.
So that's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday. It's noon to 6, right during parent-teacher conferences. So if you're scheduled to come, parent-teacher conferences anyway, just pop up and you can vote for the president and city council and the bond. You can vote for everything all at the same time. Vote on all the initiatives, so.
Probably less waiting than if you go to your regular precinct.
That is correct, yep.
Okay.
Do we need any volunteers to man it, or
No,
is it?
the county does it all,
Okay.
so.
All right. Anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. We'll go then to our discussion item 7.01, Board Policy Updates 100 Series, second reading.
So this is the same policy series that I had sent you, that you guys did the first reading on the last time. This is just the second reading. So you just kind of go through and if there's any changes in general. Again, these are all policies that are updated and provided by IASB, which has been our kind of go-to, so. If you guys are good with all the changes, then we'll just need a motion that during that time to approve them.
Did anyone have any questions or anything you wanted to point out for those policies? All right. Hearing none, then we'll go to 7.02, Pot County Threat Assessment Team MOU.
So the Pot County has put together they want to do this new program. So it's essentially the state has a program. It's called Safe and Sound. It's a reporting app that anybody in the state can submit a concern to, and then they'll go ahead and kind of distribute it out to the local areas. Well, all of last year, they had 400 total complaints across the state of Iowa all of last year. So it's just kind of a way for people to report things as they hear them or see them. Over in Douglas County, they have created kind of their own system. And so Pot County is looking to kind of replicate something where they would kind of have their own reporting system, make it more local, send it out to parents. And you know, you can report a variety of things. It doesn't, not just about like school threats. It can be, you know, things you hear about the community or things you hear about individuals. There's anonymous reporting and follow-up and that kind of stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of things to work through. Anytime you hear the word anonymous, I get a little bit nervous because it's like people can report and send people on, you know, on unlimited, wild goose chases type of deal. But then the variety of things you can report on is crazy too. Over in Douglas County, they even have a spot on there where schools can report like cheating on school assignments or small, like, I don't know. And essentially how this would work is they get a report in this, and then they send, depending on who the report pertains, they would send that to like, let's say it had something to do with Lewis Central. They would send it to us, we would review it. If we determined that it was something we wanted to look further into, then they would get this team together, which would include all the schools in Potawatomi County, Potawatomi County Sheriff's Department, Council Bluffs Police Department, depending on the local jurisdiction, their police department, EMTs. I mean, there's a lot of people sitting in this room. And then the team would get together, and then we would discuss the issue. There's some, we gotta work through that piece, because I don't know if I have a kid cheating on assignment that I need, I don't know if I need a HSTW in there and having a conversation about that. So I don't know that I need, the City of Neola Police Department. I don't think they have one, but I don't know that I need them then there either. So like there's just some things, but in order for us to, for the group to get some funding, we gotta have an MOU from every participating body. So I am more than willing. I mean, we're just at the very, very beginning, the start of it. So it's not anything that will roll out anytime soon, but to have, I mean, something's better than nothing. We really don't have any kind of reporting right now unless somebody calls in. So, I mean, we'll see. So that's the MOU. What's that?
MOU, is that memo of?
Memo of understanding. Yep.
Okay.
It just basically says that we're gonna work together, we're gonna share, because otherwise, some of the information might be, confidential or protected information. So by sharing the MOU, we're able to open that conversation up with other people in the room. And then if there's any opportunity to invest in something, whether it's the program or whatever it is, that we can pool resources for it, so. Like I said, I don't want to get up anybody's hopes that this is this is a for sure thing even, or like there's just a lot of questions. So we've had one meeting so far, and I couldn't even make that meeting. I ended up sending Dean Sharp to it, but long way to go.
Is there any discussion, any questions on this? Yeah, because I would think that this group, I mean, it has to be able to get together quite quickly.
Yes, correct.
And so understanding, because like where I work, it's like, they have a daily shout outs that the groups get together, but then they also have the command center if something awful happens,
Right.
when they get on in Zoom and able to discuss things right away and that. So, yeah, I think this is a good start.
Yep. Like I said, it's far from a done deal, but I think any conversation we have, any ongoing conversation is better than nothing.
Absolutely. So. Okay, then 7.03 allowable growth supplemental special education aid request.
So we ran a deficit this year in special education, which is not, I mean, that is 99% of the schools across the state of Iowa run a deficit in special education, because quite frankly, the federal government and the state government don't give us enough resources for it. So we get extra funding per students that qualify for it. But like, for instance, let's say we have a student with severe disability or needs that we can't serve within our school. And so we have to send them to, we have to transport them to Heartland Therapeutic or Boys Town or any of those outside services. We might receive for that particular student $30,000 a year for that student. The services that student might receive might cost us $90,000, and by federal law, we have to pay it. We can't charge it to anybody. We have to provide the services. So we have these laws that, these mandates that are saying you gotta pay whatever you have to pay in order to serve the student. But we're not gonna give you all that money. And so what ends up happening then is they give us the ability to basically request from the state additional authority for that expenditure. Because remember, we're tied to X amount of dollars per student on what we are able to spend. And so this then gives us the leeway to be able to spend more money on these particular students. How we get that money then is a mix. It might be that we have it on hand as cash. It might be that the state at the end of the year will go back and collect all of the unused funds that other schools haven't used, and then they distribute it out amongst other schools, so we'll get a portion of it for that. And then if we have to, then it gives us the ability to levy then for that support and those services. So I'll tell you that, for instance, our deficit's 673,000. Council Bluffs deficit is in close to $1.6 million. Des Moines runs a $20 million deficit. AHSTW runs a $650,000 deficit. Missouri Valley runs a $300,000 deficit. So, it's all ours is percentage-wise looks high, but percentage-wise is lower than what you would see probably most schools in the area. So, and a lot of it has to do with, we haven't run a deficit in a long time. And a lot of it was just kind of, to be honest, it was because we were kind of underspending in special education. We've upped the amount of money that we're paying paraeducators. They were making, when I first got here, making like $10 an hour, something like that. I mean,
Not that low.
Not that low. They weren't making, so. Now they're all at 15 plus, but they didn't receive any healthcare benefits. Now they all receive healthcare benefits if they choose them. So there's just some things that we've flipped, but that costs money. But at the same time, we're probably as full in special education as we've been in years. So to get good people, you have to be able to pay for them and retain them. So. And it's what's best for kids. So, and to be honest, it takes a ton off of our teachers. So, when you have good support and good paraeducators. So yeah, it's kind of one of those. It's one of those pills that's hard to swallow because this government says you have to do it and you have to provide these services, but yet we're not gonna give you the funding you need to be able to do it. So, it's pretty awesome. So.
Is there any questions?
This appears to be from last school year budget, fiscal year.
It is, yep. So we overspent 673,000, yep. And I would say to anticipate that we will have a deficit moving forward every single year, probably close to this amount. So that's the way that 98% of schools across the state of Iowa do it. So it's when you come in here and you see, not to say we're doing anything wrong, but when you see a positive balance, you're giving money back, my first inclination goes to what are we not doing that 98% of schools across the state are doing? So, but. Any other questions?
So we make this request, what are the odds of actually receiving that full amount?
0.
Okay.
No, we'll have to. We have cash on hand, so it'll go into our cash on hand. When you spend down your cash down to a certain level, like let's say we didn't have any cash on hand, we're pretty, as far as remember there's different pools, so we're not facility cash rich, we're not that at all. We do have some money in the account for like educational purposes, so that's what we'll use to spend it down, but then once that starts dwindling, then that's when we have to go back and levy for additional funds. And it's not much. I mean, the levy increases 10 cents, 15 cents, something like that. But we have several years until we're there, so.
Any other questions? Okay, 7.04, high school HVAC bid.
Is that mine? So we have, I guess he's the man himself is here.
Woohoo.
Mr. Wallace, you want to step up and talk about the bids?
Sure. So, as you all know, we are doing a mechanical project at the high school. It includes replacing the chiller, which serves the entire high school for the cooling system and everything, and the 2 large rooftop units on top of the large gym, and the weight room rooftop unit. So those are the 3 big items. There's also a fair amount of electrical upgrades and gas service upgrades that go into this project because The new rooftop units will not run on the chiller anymore to lessen the load on it, so the rest of the school can stay better climatized. But we bid this on Thursday, had 4 bidders show up, as you can see. Rasmussen Mechanical, Midwest Mechanical Contractors, Fluid, and Ray Martin. Ray Martin came in as the low bidder, which was $13,000 over our budget that was planned for the job. Good thing is with the roofs, we saved over $150,000 and actually did an extra section of roof within that money too, so we're sitting really good with all that. Ray Martin is a very good company. We've got a lot of experience and time with them. One benefit of them is they're kind of an all-in-one shop where they have electricians, gas fitters, HVAC guys, everything, so kind of makes it a little bit easier to manage them and everything too. So we will be recommending Ray Martin to be the selected contractor to do the work. If all goes well with the approval and everything, we'll start all the submittal process and contracts and paperwork, everything you need to get going, because the equipment is 8 to 10 months to get it. So the work won't happen until summer of next year while the school's shut down, because we obviously have to remove the entire cooling system and get it put back together. Might do a little bit of work over Christmas break, some electrical piping, stuff like that, that you can do while there's no students around. But yeah, pretty good turnout for it, and numbers came in where we were hoping to see them, so we're pretty pleased with it. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Are they all, sorry, all 4 bids, like, are they all bidding on the exact same equipment? Are they under because they're saying we don't have to?
The plans and specifications give you certain suppliers you have to use and stuff.
Got it,
So
okay. So
everything
we're-
is bid per the plans and specs and meets the requirements of the
Okay.
bid.
And then the electrical that you talked about, is this like control panel electrical? Meaning, like, we always talked about, you know, you have like an iPad and you can shut stuff off.
That's a whole different part of it.
That's a different part of it?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's being done also. That's more of a controls and zoning.
Got it.
So you can actually control the stuff better, shut it off at certain times, remotely view what's going on. That's being built into it also.
Okay, got it.
And there's not really many rebates for this type of work, right?
No, not
Yeah.
with this work. You get into the geothermals and some of that stuff, that's where you get the rebates, but not this kind of work.
Right.
So, yep, that's it.
So you guys have any
Okay.
questions for?
Any other questions?
All
All right,
Thanks.
thank you.
Yes, thanks, Brett.
All right, 7.05, open enrollment, and per Iowa Code I should have that memorized. 21.51A, closed session is appropriate to review or discuss records which are required or authorized by state or federal law to be kept confidential or to be kept confidential as a condition for the governmental body's possession or continued receipt of federal funds. With that, can I get a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Vote, please.
Mrs. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Sorensen?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Miss Adkins?
Yes.
Mr. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. Sheffel?
Yes. Have the mics back on? Are you back on? All right, we're back online, so we will go ahead and the second time during our agenda, comments and suggestions, anyone in the audience or anyone online, if they want to type something in, can address the board. All right, hearing none, we'll go then to our action items. 9.01, board policy updates, 100 series on the second reading.
Madam President,
Mr. Houston.
I'd like to make a motion to approve board policy review and updates for the 100 series as presented in the meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote, please.
Mrs. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Sorensen?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Miss Atkins?
Yes.
Mr. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Sheffel?
Yes. 9.02, Potawatomi County Threat Assessment Team, MOU.
Madam President,
Mr. Houston.
may I make a motion to approve the Potawatomi County Threat Assessment Team MOU?
Second.
Any discussion? Vote, please.
Mr. Sorensen?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Miss Atkins?
Yes.
Mr. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson?
Yes.
Mrs. Sheffel?
Yes. 9.03, allowable gross supplemental special education aid request.
Madam President,
Mr. Houston.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the special education supplement with the amount of allowable growth request of $673,874.94 for fiscal year 2023 to 2024.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote, please.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Miss Atkins?
Yes.
Mr. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Sorensen?
Yes.
Mrs. Sheffel?
Yes. 9.05, open enrollment action.
Missed one.
9.04.
904.
Oh, I'm sorry, high school. That's what happens when I cross them off too early. Okay, 9.04, high school HVAC bid.
Madam President,
Mr. Houston.
I'd like to make a motion to award the high school HVAC bid to Ray Martin for the amount of $1,660,300.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote, please.
Miss Atkins?
Yes.
Mr. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Sorensen?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mrs. Sheffel?
Yes. Now 9.05, open enrollment action. Can I get a motion, please?
Madam President,
Mr. Houston.
I'd like to make a motion to revoke open enrollment to student A as discussed in closed session.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote, please.
Mr. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Sorensen?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Miss Atkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Sheffel?
Yes. Items of interest, future board meetings. Our next regular board meeting will be October 21st, 2024 at 6:30 here at the ERC. We have a bond informational session, October 9th, which is this week at 7 o'clock, the middle school multipurpose room. Satellite voting Thursday, October 24th, noon to 6, Titan Hill Intermediate School. And the bond vote will be November 5th, 2024. And then we have the IASB State Conference, November 20th to 21st. Do you need to have, or do we, is there an early registration or anything for that?
So that's what, I was just talking to Anna about that today. So she would like, if you're intending on a, if you would intend on attending, she would like you to let me know by the end of this week, and I can send you guys more information. I mean, it's just the regular IASB conference. It's the 20th and 21st, the 22nd's that Friday, and that's like the president's, you know, deal that we don't typically ever do. But the 20th and 21st would be the 2-day conference. So she just needs to get rooms for those who, you can go down for 1 day, you can go down 2 days, you can, you know, if you need a room the night before, or the room the night of, like, just communicate with me and then I'll let Anna know, so.
Well, usually Wednesday is the pre-conference, different
And the
things you can
delegate
sign up
That's right,
for.
yeah.
And then it's
Yeah.
also the delegate assembly.
And I would be
Yeah, that's
happy
right.
to do that again. I've done it off and on for the past several
Okay.
years. And
Well, and it can be more than one.
Yeah.
And so I can, if anyone else wants to do it, I don't think we need to know that, right?
Nope, you just
No.
need to tell me if you're intending on going and you want a room for what nights and what you want Anna to sign you up for as far as the actual conference goes,
Right.
so.
The actual conference is usually the one
Yeah, it would be the
Thursday.
21st, yep.
Right, and then if you want to stay, they do have post-conference sessions
Yeah,
also.
it looks like board president's workshop's the only thing on Friday, but the Thursday is the annual convention and trade show. Wednesday is the pre-convention and delegate assembly, so.
Okay.
And you can cancel up to November 17th too, so if you're like, hey, I really wanna go, we'll get you registered, get the hotel rooms booked, and then,
But
we'll
if
come back
something
with that,
comes
yeah.
up.
So I am planning on going down at a minimum, on Thursday, the 21st, probably go down the night before, so.
I
Might
would
go home
go
that evening.
Wednesday for if nobody else wants to, I can go Wednesday night for the delegate assembly and then Wednesday, Thursday night,
Okay.
or Wednesday night, just Wednesday.
So you would go down Tuesday night to go
Tuesday
to
night.
Wednesday, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
and
and
Wednesday
then
night,
Thursday.
sorry.
Okay.
Usually everyone goes home Thursday.
Yes, go home,
unless
that's
there's
what I
something
meant,
on
and
Friday.
I wasn't saying the right days.
Well, and really, you can
Yeah.
let Anna know.
Just text
Email
me,
Anna.
text me what you guys wanna do, and I'll just know I'm planning on going down Wednesday evening, and then I'll go to the show, or to the convention on Thursday, and then come back Thursday evening, so. But even if you wanna drive down Thursday morning, you know, if nobody else goes down, well, you'll be down there, so, okay.
And the
Yeah.
past couple years, we've had football, state football that
That
Thursday
night.
Yeah, that
night.
Thursday night,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
Hopefully we have that again. Go to the
Absolutely.
conference, and then I'll zip over to state football, so.
All right, then with that, anything else?
Nope.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?